Well, welcome back to Spoon's channel. This is pretty exciting. I'm really happy about all the positive response and everything that I got from my last video. So another D-shot video on how to tune is coming up in the future. But the other day I was at the field and somebody cut their balance lead, and then they struck. I don't know if anybody's seen this, but they struck a nail through the battery and said, "That's it, it's done." Right? You know, the battery's still perfectly fine. The balance lead, you just can replace it. So today I'm going to show you how to replace the balance lead on the battery. So this is one that was destroyed at the field recently. As you can see, the what you should do immediately is tape these, because these are live wires, and they have the lowest potential between them is 3.7 volts, right? But on this, it's a 6 cell, so you can have up to 24 volts between the negative, between the red wire and the black wire. So I always carry some electrical tape at the field, and then I've taped up each connector here, and then I bring them home and I will untape the connectors and look at the damage. So you can see part of the balance plug is still back. So this is kind of a good representation of what you're going to end up with, is like either like one of them's going to be cut or whatever. So we'll pull these open and we'll look at them one at a time. So I know that black is going to be the first one in line. So I'll unwrap the black one first. All right, let's do this. So I have the other thing I'm going to check is like, okay, I got no other ones exposed. Okay, perfect. I got nothing for this one to tap into. All right, so this one is perfectly fine. So we can still use it. There's a, you probably can't see that in the video, but there's a little tab on the back of these. Let's see if I can get this to focus here. Turn this on. Okay. So there's a little tab on the back of these. Right focus. There we go. See the little tab on the back here. As long as that tab's there, and these aren't like too damaged, you can reuse them. If they are not, if the tab is not there, I actually have these guys, which is a part number, which I will put in the description. Come on, focus. Yeah. So see the little tabs on the back of all of these. These are brand new ones, and I will put this this part number and where to order it in the description. So that's the part number for the wires. So a couple tools that you're going to need for this job. You'll need this, and I'll put the link to all of these in the description. This is a crimper. I got it from Hobby King. It's like $15. Like these can range like in the thousands of dollars, but this one's actually pretty nice for the small hobbyist work, and I do this professionally, and this is actually a really decent crimper for doing, if you're not going to do thousands of crimps, right? This is really nice. It locks. So that's enough of a review on that. You'll need your standard like wire strippers. Everybody has these, and some wire cutters, and the crimp ends, and the actual balance lead itself. So I see a lot of guys, they'll save their old batteries and they'll resolder on a balance lead from an old one, but it looks like a hack job to me. And the great part about this stuff is, like, once you get set up with a few parts, I have this bin of these over here for of basically all my stuff, right, of all my different balance leads, and I think this was like $20 worth of parts. So they're pennies to replace them once if you buy a couple of them, right? So I bought enough for 6S, 4S, 3S, the common voltages, and I did some 5S too, because I wanted to make my own packs before anybody was selling the 5S packs. But basically, for whatever cell, this is a 6 cell, so you need 7 holes in the balance lead. So however many cells, add one. So for a 4-cell battery, you'll use a balance connector with 5 holes in it, and that's basically all you need to know to order the parts. Okay, so let's get started. I'm actually going to grab another battery so that I make sure I don't screw this up. This is another 6S battery. Okay, so I always forget which one is negative. So, okay, negative starts. I don't know if you can see this on this connector. So we have, focus again. So you see that negative starts all the way on this side of the connector. So for me, that is the right side. For you guys, that's the left side. But so I will just make sure that, okay, check. So I'm going to plug that into this hole, and the little tab that we talked about earlier goes into, faces up in the slot. All right, one other tool that you'll need that I didn't grab is a pair of tweezers. They make tools for pushing these in. I can put a link for that in the description, but I just use tweezers. I don't like to buy special tools if I don't need to. So these wires are actually big enough that you can just push them in with a tweezer, and then I'll check. Like a lot of times you can hear the tab grab, but yeah, there, it's in there. So now I'm going to check to make sure. Okay, yep. I'm looking at a tab here. So see how black's on the same side on both of these where the tabs are? Okay, perfect. So you can either do, so different manufacturers are going to have different color codes, right? I know that these are both done by Hobby King, so I could actually go by the color code here, but we're not going to do that. We're going to pretend like I don't have another one as an example for me to go by for the color code, because a lot of times they don't have to be specific. So the next color in there, I can actually kind of look at the base here and see which one is the next one out as my guess. And my guess is, based on these, the order that they're coming out is that it's the blue one. So we're actually kind of lucky with this one, because for everyone that we expose, because we don't know, we need to actually measure. So I'm going to take and I'm going to measure the voltage between the black and whatever the next one is from here on out, so that I make sure that you should have 3.7 volts between each cell. So if it's more than 3.7 volts from the last one that you connected to the next one, then you know that you've done it wrong. So the blue one, I'm getting no voltage there. Probably because I'm not making contact on one of these. This is going to make for a great video. I'm going to have to cut this out. The washing machine's going off in the background. And I'm struggling touching these wires together. This is awesome. All right, so you can't see any of this, but believe me, I'm doing it. So can you see that? All right, so it's not green because I'm getting 12 volts, and it's not blue because I'm getting 8 volts. So I need to pick another, see? And again, that's why you can't go by the color code. So of another one. So all right, let's look at this. We have black comes out next to, all right, let's try purple. This is perfect. Okay, great. So the battery actually they cut that one off when it got hit by the prop. So I will take the black, negative here, come on. Let's see what the voltage is. All right, that's 4 volts. So that is the second one in line. So it should be between 3.7 and 4.2 volts between each one. Okay, so this one got cut. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take these handy dandy spare pieces that I have here, which are the crimp ends, and we're going to crimp one on there. So let's do it. Okay, so we'll grab the crimper. Actually, because this is all all kinds of chewed up. I'm actually going to cut it back. You don't want to cut too much off, but I'm going to cut it back just a smidge, so that I have a clean wire to work with, and then I'll strip off. This is also important. So you want to strip off just a little bit. You want to strip off like 2 to 3 millimeters, whatever that is, and it's, you can see how much I stripped off there. It's just a little bit, right? So it's not very much. And basically what you want when you crimp these is there's two parts to this. See if we can get this in frame. So on these connectors we have a part here that's for that holds the wire, the insulation of the wire, and a part here that holds the wire. So we want to strip off just enough so that we go from that the wire is in this section. So you want it to be that much that you strip off, and then you want this to be around the insulation when you crimp it, and then that will make for a really strong crimp. So let's crimp this bad boy. So we take it, put it in the crimper. So there's two sides to the crimper. There is when you crimp it closed. Man, nothing is focusing today. So when you crimp it closed, you'll see that so these are for different gauges of wire. This is actually the gauge that we're using, the smaller one. But like when you look at it, there is a small side to it. Come on. So there's this side is tinier, and this side is bigger. This side's for the insulation and the wire. This side is for just the wire. So this side is the part that we stripped. So that's going to go towards the end of the connector. So the small side goes towards the end of the connector. So I'm going to hold the connector on here, crimp it in. So now it's, I don't know if you can see that, but this is the small side with the that has the connector end on it. So small side has the wire, big side has the wire and insulation. So now I'll slide this bad boy in there. Let's clean this up a little bit. And I may have stripped off a little much here, so I'll trim this back just a bit. Yeah, there we go. Right. So slide that guy in there. Sorry, this is going to be difficult to get in frame. So slide it in, crimp it down, and that one is terrible. So let's do it again, because I totally effed it up because I'm trying to film it for you guys. Alright, so we'll strip off a piece of wire again, just a little bit. Grab one of these off one of these connectors. There's two ways you can do it. The way that I tried before, which was to slide it in afterwards, and you can line them up like this. I have no luck like that. So, all right, I'll make sure that the wire side goes towards the big hole in the crimper. Oh, I'm turning it. I tell you, filming something and doing it is an art form all on its own. So hopefully you can see this. I'm sliding it in. There we go. All right. So if you look at this, it's not the best crimp in the world, but it's not the best crimper in the world, but you can see that the insulation is inside the first section of crimp, and the wire is sticking out of the second section of crimp. That's a pretty good crimp that's going to hold for some time. So this is the second one. goes in the second slot, right? Perfect. So we'll continue this until we have them all in there. I feel a time lapse coming on. This one is completely haggard and destroyed, so we're gonna have to cut that one off. So see how there's no tab on it to hold it on. So cut that bad boy off and go again. Crimp another one on. One thing to mention here, I kind of mentioned it, but when you're cutting these off and such, you always want to have one wire exposed at a time. But I've also seen guys, they'll take and they make this mistake. They'll cut two at a time, right? They'll come in and be like, all right, let's cut them off, right? And when you do this, the tool's metal and it makes contact with both wires. So don't do that. One wire at a time. Always only have one wire at a time exposed, and you can't get in that much trouble that way. So pop this guy in there. Crimper down. Good enough. All right. So let's see what the voltage potential between that one and purple is. So it should be, well, you can't see that, so let's do it here. Now you can see. Purple. So I have 12 volts between yellow and purple. So I'm going to go back to black. It's going to be 12 plus 4, but it's going to be, this will be better for demonstration, so it's going to be 16 volts. So should be 16 volts. Yeah, 16 volts on that one, right? So 16 volts is going to be, you know, I know they're 4 volts a cell, so I can say, okay, so this is 16 divided by 4 is going to be 4, so this is 1, 2, you can't see me counting because that's in the way. So 16 divided by 4, because it's 4 volts a cell right now, is going to be 4. So this one is cell 1, 2, 3, 4, and I can drop it right in that hole so that's out of the way, or I could retape it. This is kind of a more advanced way to do it, but I don't like to screw with it. So before I clip it in, because once you clip it in, you're basically done, right? You can push on these little tabs to get them out, but I basically have to cut the thing apart to get them out. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, done. So I'm stabbing it in now. And one of the nice things about this is you can do, you can make your own packs. If you know how to do this, you can cut apart a 3-cell with a bad cell, or a 4-cell with a bad cell, and make yourself a 3-cell. Or I've made 2-cell packs for doing the top end calibration on ESCs. Okay, so let's check the next wire. You can see this tab here has, it's not 100%, but it's on there, right? So I can actually get the tweezers underneath of it, and sometimes you can bend these back, and you don't want to go too crazy with them. You just want to get it just a little bit. So I probably went a little crazy with that, but now there's a tab showing on it. So all right, so let's check the voltage on that. All right. So I actually had to go, because this is a 24 cell or 24 volt. I should have to go to the next range. So we're 20 volts right there. So that's, yeah, that's going to be, if I check the yellow, it's going to be 4 volts on top of that one. See? So it's the next one in front of the yellow that we just put in. But basically that's 5. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4. See? 5. So I'll put it in the 5th hole. And that way we're putting them away one at a time. So I know red is the last one. You can almost be certain of that every single time. So I'm going to unwrap that one so I don't have to deal with it later. So let's unwrap that. Give that an inspection. Man, I did a number on this pack. I'm going to have to, a lot of times you can reuse most of them, but this one again, the tab's missing. So have to cut that bad boy off and do it again. So cut the tab off. Pull the insulation. Break one of the new ones off. Put in our crimper over here. I'm going to move this out of the way. Put in our crimper. Again, there's a big hole. There's a big hole on this side and a smaller hole on that side. Smaller hole is wire only. Big hole is wire and insulation. I'm going to do this out of frame so that I can actually get it perfect this time because it's really hard to do it in frame. Okay, so now I've put that, I've crimped it to the first notch in there, right? I don't know if you can see that, but it's sticking out. So I'll put slip the wire in there. I just happened to muck up. So now the wire's in there. I'll give her a nice good crimp. And these are ratcheting, right? See, I'm not holding it. So they ratchet closed. And then when you finally crimped it enough that it hits that final ratchet, one more ratchet and it will open up. So that's a ratcheting crimper. That basically means that it ensures that you're getting a full crimp before you let go. So all right, we're just going to make one check here to make sure that so I should be looking for 24 volts between black here and red over here. I do this to make sure that it's absolutely the right one. So that's 24 volts. I'm doing everything upside down for you guys, but here. How about I do this one right side up so you can actually see the voltage readout. So there's going to be somebody in the comments that says, it's upside down. Well, you didn't watch the whole video. There we go. I fixed it. There, 24 volts. Perfect. Sorry about that. All right, so we'll drop this one in there. Put it in the last hole, so. All right, so slide it right in there. And this one's butter because it's crimped perfectly. It's new. It just slid right in. So, and then it'll pop in and lock. Perfect. Okay, so we only have 2 left. And these 2, remember how I was saying about cutting them out? There's 2 ways you can handle this. You can cut them off, or you can try and save the individual tabs. So I can see that this one has a bent up tab. I'll bend that back. I'll try and give that a little bend back now. And if I can't, whatever. Okay, so I can't bend it back in there. So what I like to do is I like to actually grab my my side snips and cut them out. So I cut the cut up the actual part. So again, one at a time here. So I can cut that and then just bend it open, and now it pulls right out. So bend it open and it pulls right out. So, and then this one, the tab is still there, but it's bent up. So we'll push that one back into place. It probably will be fine. It might break off. If it breaks off, we'll just do another one. We'll just crimp on another one. But there. Yeah, see, I was able to bend that one back into place there. So okay, so it bent back into place. So now, okay, let's see what the potential is between black and that one. So it's either going to be, there's 2 slots left. So we have the number 1 cell, so the 2 and 3 cells. So it's either going to be 8 volts or 12 volts. So let's see. Let's see what we have here. The voltage is 12 volts. So it is the 3rd cell that we're going to drop this into. So we count from black. That's why we started with black. Black. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. So take this, slide it in there, tab facing up. Grab our handy dandy tweezers. Boom. Okay, so we got one left to do. I will cut this one out as well. So just give her a little cut here. All right. The other thing to remember when you're working with these is that this end is live too. So if I touch this in here, I will get a shock, right? The only ones, yeah, basically I could touch the black one to this one and it's got no potential, and I could touch the red one to that one, it's got no potential. But other than that, it's gonna pop and be an exciting fireworks show if I do that. So you really need to respect this if you're doing it, because you know you can. Lipos can dump a lot of energy very quickly, and that's why we like them. That's why they're great. But you know, if you screw up with them, they can really get bad. So there we go. I fixed that. Looks super pro. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to check. I'm just going to go up each cell and check to make sure that my potentials are what I expect them to be. So I'm just going to hold it on the black one and go up to every single cell. So that one should be 4 volts. The next one should be 8 volts. The next one should be 12 volts. The next one should be 16 volts. The next one should be 20 volts. The next one should be 24 volts. So that's all correct. Very happy. And let me grab a cell checker here. Checker. Then you can plug it into your cell checker to make sure that they all work. So look at that. I had a really bad day flying this one because it was fully charged. Didn't even get to fly the pack, just got to take off. But yeah, there you go. That is one fixed pack. Looks pro. If you have any questions, feel free to comment. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe for more videos, and thanks for all the positive feedback that's been coming from these. This it's a lot of work doing these, and I appreciate everybody watching them and taking the time to comment, like, subscribe. Like, it's been great recently. So all right, really appreciate it. Thanks.